Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kristin with Mobile Mama Chiropractic, and today on the Doula Diaries, we have Anna with Bodies in Bloom. So go ahead, Anna, tell us all about your doula business.
Hello, thank you for having me, Dr. Kristin. So my name is Anna Shashelchik. I know that last name is a mouthful. It's not mine, it's my partner's. But I am a birth and postpartum doula here in Greenville. I started my business in 2019 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm from. And I do both birth and postpartum. So I support, during the prenatal, during pregnancy, throughout the labor and birth, and then as well as postnatally.
Love that. So why did you become a doula?
So, I feel like everybody kind of has a similar story, but I was actually in school to be an early childhood educator. And I had my son, who is now 6, and it was not planned. It was a very stressful pregnancy. And I'm thankful that I didn't have a crazy traumatic birth, but I look back now as a doula with everything I know and I cringe, of course. But I mean, nevertheless, I really just was so fascinated by what my body had done. And so I just sat there and researched just because I wanted to learn more. And I was like, holy cow, like, how did my body just do? Like, it grew a human, it birthed a human, it's now creating, nourishment for this human. Like, why aren't we talking about this more?
Yeah.
Um, and I genuinely just like found so much like joy in just learning more about birth. And that's kind of when I came across, the words doula and midwife. And as cheesy as it sounds, I think I read like the description of a doula and I was like, well, I know for a fact that like this is what I have to do. I mean, I don't know if you want to call it a calling, whatever it is. I just felt so drawn to it and I knew that that's where I needed to go. And so I took some time off. I worked a ton. And then in 2019, I think it was 2018 actually, I began my certification process and finished that early into 2019. And we got married, and then I started my own business. And so when you become a certified doula, you kind of have like two options. It's, either go work through an agency or start your own business. And I mean, I think even in an agency, you have your own business, but there was none in Wisconsin. So I really just kind of had to jump into owning my own business, and I didn't know anything. I made a ton of mistakes, but, I got a few clients under my belt. I knew for a fact, like, this is what I need to do. But then COVID hit, and that really sucked. So that was a pretty long pause, but it was like, right at the end of COVID, it just kind of like skyrocketed. And I was so busy and so grateful. And then again, I was preparing myself to take a break once I moved to South Carolina. We've been here for about like 2 years now.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm moving my business across the country. It's okay to take a break, but Greenville is such a birth hub. And so I've been so thankful and so like just so lucky. And I've been the busiest I've ever been. And I learn something new at every single birth, every single experience I have. I just surpassed my 100 birth mark. I've officially been to 102 births. So that was a really big one for me. I was super excited. I felt like I was so close to 100 like for so long. And then I blinked and I hit 100 and then I blinked again. And then I'm like, oh, 102. And I have about like 20 something more yet. So I'm so excited and I'm so thankful. But that's a little bit how I got started into it.
That's awesome. You'll have to do a recap at the end of the year. I love when businesses do like their like little stats. So
yeah,
like,
do you? I feel like I hear mixed things. Like some people love it and some people are like, I don't want to hear about it, but I like to do it.
yeah, I like it. I think it's cute. I've been telling myself I need to like go track like how many babies I've been seeing in that.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. And when somebody's looking for a doula, I would think they
Yeah,
would wanna know how many births you've been to and what
right,
your experience is. It doesn't just mean,
right,
like, because you've been to a ton, like, that means it's gonna be perfect, but, like,
right.
you've been in a lot of different situations. You've probably seen some
Mhm.
different things to have that experience,
Yeah, I've
and
seen some
this type
stuff.
of work really, like, learning
Yeah.
is doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I've said this a million times, like, you technically don't have to be certified to be a doula. Um, I mean, I'm happy I am, just like, put those credentials and, but truly, I learned everything I know from experience, really. I mean, like, it's just something that you're constantly learning, you're constantly growing, and something that you have to get experience doing. And so, I mean, I believe I've said it a million times, but I really do believe that there's no doula that exists that doesn't do it because they're passionate about it, and I think that that's true. And so everyone's got to start somewhere, you know.
Absolutely.
hmm
I'm gonna go off topic for 1 second, if
Yeah.
that's okay, about the certification. Is it,
Mhm.
like, one agency that certifies all doulas, or are there different options? What is that like?
There's a ton of different options.
Okay.
There are literally so many.
I've
um,
heard of, like, Donna, and
yeah,
honestly, that's the only one I've heard of, but I'm sure there's a bunch.
Dona is one of the most popular ones. Doesn't necessarily mean it's like the best. Um, I got mine through International Doula Institute.
Okay.
There's it really doesn't matter. There are so many, and there like there was some helpful information. Especially, I do think especially if you are a doula who hasn't had a child of your own, because you can definitely still be a doula and not have any kids. I do
Right.
believe that for sure. Um, but you know, there is a lot of education. I mean, and even just on the physiologic birth process. And not, I mean, even though those who have had babies, that doesn't mean that you necessarily know it either. But that does help. But again, just being a doula, because it's so individual, it's so different for each person. Their style. That's just something you kind of have to find for yourself, and something that can't be taught.
Absolutely. Tell us more about what either specialty or additional services you offer.
Okay, so I am both birth and postpartum. So in the birth role, it is a lot of education. So education on your options, the normal process that happens in and out of hospital. Education on not only just labor in general, but like coping mechanisms, newborn procedures and preferences. Um, how partner can get involved, things like that, any preparation. I also do on-call support, so my clients have access to me, call, text, email, whatever, from the minute that they sign a contract with me.
Okay.
I'm like maid of honor for birth. I obviously am there throughout the labor and the birth process. And then I do postnatal work as well. Some people have hired me for overnight care, which I do love to do. And that's something that unfortunately is considered a luxury, but it shouldn't be. We're working on, getting insurance to cover doula support better. It's a work in progress, but I've had some success with it with my clients, thankfully, and I think that things are going to, change eventually, so everybody can have access to it if they want it.
Right.
I also have an entire online resource library that I've been putting blood, sweat, and tears into for the entire time I've been a doula. I think that it is vital to be able to have access to good, reliable, unbiased information. And I used to only call it evidence based, and I'm straying away from that because I've learned that not all evidence is created equal. Not all scientific research is, I want to say valid, but valid. And, I also believe people and women and their experiences. And I think that that is something that's also worth taking into consideration. And so, whatever you want to call it, my resource library is, just it's packed full of information. I have like 7 different folders and hundreds of resources that my clients can go on and access at any point, in addition to having on-call support with me. So there's a lot of questions. I'll be like, all right, here it is on the library, just better explain. But it has everything you can think of from fertility to newborn milestones. And I really pride myself on that because I think that it's, so easy to hop onto Google, type something in, get a biased answer just based on how you typed it in. And it's really hard to find non-biased information too. And I think that, I truly believe that there's no wrong way to give birth. So whether that's in your living room or in the hospital bed, it doesn't matter where you give birth, as long as that, you're going into that experience educated, all of your options, you're informed, you're confident in all the decisions you're going to make, you feel supported by your team, your care team, and it's free from coercion and fear. Like there's no way it's going to go wrong, as long as you're going into your birth with that. So having a place where you can get the answers to all of your questions is vital. So
I love that. I remember when we first met, you were telling me about your resource library, and so many people that I know love things like that, where you can go in and pick out which topic you want to look at and get all the
information. On time. Yeah.
If not, you're researching, it ends up taking forever, and you're like, I'm not done. I don't know if this is everything I need to know. And finding a place where the information is grouped together is so helpful, especially when you're a new parent or a second or multiple time parent, because it's information you're looking for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So
and it's, at your own pace too.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Why do you love being a doula?
I think that birth is such a pivotal moment in someone's life. I think that it is transformative, and it's a rite of passage. I think that it changes you whether you want it to or not, whether you're aware of it or not. And it's just such a monumental thing in somebody's life. It feels so amazing to be able to be part of the support team and just be able to not only just to witness it, honestly, but especially to know that, I had a role in helping in any way I can. I think that I've always kind of been a nurturing kind of person. I've always wanted to help. I've always loved helping. I've always loved educating in some sort of way, but it's just, there's nothing like watching life, happen right in front of your eyes. It truly never, ever, ever gets old. I've seen 102 births, and every single time it gets me. So
do you cry every time?
I don't every time, but 98% of the time, yes. I do. My most recent one, I bawled like a baby. It might have been lack of sleep, hormones, who knows? But I was like, oh,
all good. Hormones, the beauty of it.
Yeah, I was like, all right. But it's funny because I think I said to someone recently, I'd be like, wow, this is so amazing. I can let out a tear. And then I'm like, oh, I got to suck it back up because I got work to do. I got to get back. I got to make sure that all these preferences are being advocated for. Yeah. So I don't have time for this.
All right. Tell us something fun about you.
Something fun about me. Wow. So like I said, I'm from Milwaukee. If anybody knows anything about Milwaukee, I was diehard city girl. I never cared about living in the country, and I'm looking outside at my chicken coop right now, and I'm planting a big old garden and with a greenhouse. But that's something that we've been really into right now. I have two kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I will be homeschooling them. And we're learning so much about having a mini homestead and being self-sufficient. And it's been so fun, and I find so much pleasure in it. Yeah, it's just honestly become a hobby. It's so fun to be self-sufficient and go out and just grab what you need from the garden and have chickens. They're so fun. And but yeah.
That's what happens when you move to South Carolina, right?
Yes, I know. It changed me. It really did.
Just like you said about it being a birth hub, there's so many other moms that are interested in things like that at whatever scale they can start doing it. So
Mhm.
we are all in the
Yeah.
right place together.
Yes, I found myself, like, churning butter the other day, and I was like, "This has gone too far." Like
I'm sure you have moms that would love for you to bring them butter.
They
So
do, they do, and you know what? It was good butter too, so
I bet.
yeah.
I love that. All right. What advice do you have for our audience?
I would say the best thing that you can do to prepare for birth, to prepare for labor and, just the entire experience isn't necessarily to learn everything there is to know or take the best childbirth education class. I mean, although, learn, that's important, but, the biggest thing you can do is build trust with yourself. Birth is not obviously a very, something that definitely happens physically to you, but mentally especially. And I think that that's something that's a little bit overlooked is, they think, okay, I know every single labor stage. I know the best positions to get into at this stage. And of course that's great. But, if you do have a doula, a midwife, they're there to remind you of that. We're there to remind you to relax your jaw during a surge and, be mindful of your breath, get back on track with your breath work. But building that trust is something that only you can do. Um, and that's huge because your body knows what to do. It's capable of birth. That's what our bodies are made to do. And birth almost always works if you just let it do what it's intended to do. So
Also true.
yes.
How can our listeners connect with you, whether that be an event you have coming up, an offer you have going on, or connecting with you online?
Sure. So I don't currently have any events going. I am living my best homestead life right now and just getting through my summer births. So I don't have any events, but I do post them when I do.
Okay.
Otherwise, finding me on my website, my phone number, I think, is on both my site and my Instagram. You can send me a DM. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'm going to link all of that in the comments once this gets posted. So I'll go and make sure your website's on there
Thank
and
you.
get the link to your profile and post all of those on there. And then I'll share this on Facebook also because this is streaming through YouTube.
Cool. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Well, thank you so much for doing
Of
this.
course. Thanks for having me and for this, everything that you're organizing. I think that it's so helpful for the community. And I know so many people that wish they probably had this.
It's like a pre-interview before you have to
Yeah. Heck yeah. I love it.
yourself. Just watch some video clips.
Yes, absolutely. I love it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, Dr. Kristin. Bye.